Am I the asshole for sending an invoice to my wife's cousin after she, quote, didn't have space for us at her wedding?
Wow.
I own a printing company that I run with my wife. Her cousin came to us and wanted us to do all the signage, banners, guest books, life-sized cutouts, etc. for her wedding. We do this all the time for friends' weddings and events, and we never charge. We're happy to help out, and it's usually a lot of fun working together to make some cool stuff. A few weeks before the wedding, her wedding planner tells us they need all of the items by X date so they can set it up for the wedding. At this point, we hadn't received our wedding invitations and didn't even know when the actual wedding was. My wife texts her and tries to clarify when the wedding is and if we missed the invitation somehow. Her cousin replies and says, quote, "Oh, we downsized the wedding and we have decided to have like a close friends and family thing," end quote. And they didn't have space for us in the small venue. My wife and I are pretty hurt and insulted, and on top of it, we've spent close to $2,000 on all of the materials. Her cousin and the wedding planner kept making tiny revisions to the artwork, had us print samples to see how it would look in person, resize several of the items a few times, etc. All that cost a ton of time and money, and we're a functioning business, so we either had to delay other orders or stay late and print her stuff on our own time. So I went ahead and billed her for our cost and said we needed payment before delivery because I'm not going to chase her down for payment for months/years after the wedding. We're not making money on it, just charged her for the cost of materials. So far, we've gotten threatening calls from the cousin, her fiance, some random members of my wife's family that I don't know, some of the groomsmen, etc., essentially calling us assholes. After the harassment, I'm considering charging full price or else we won't deliver the items. Are we assholes here? Sorry, but I'm not going to waste my hard-earned time and money on someone who doesn't even consider us, quote, close friends and family.
So was the understanding that they were going to get it for free originally?
It seems like it was expected.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. No like clear-cut answer based on that, but it feels like it was expected to be free.
I might be missing a detail, but I don't think that he's an asshole for that.
Not at all.
I don't think you should ever expect anything for free unless it's explicitly said. I mean, there's certain situations where it's just a given. You know that this is a gift. You know that this is something that's being covered. But in this situation, I mean, I don't think they're misreading it at all. And I think that it's really shitty that they didn't even catch an invite to this wedding. Like, even more so, okay, that this is more transactional than I actually originally thought. I think they should charge for sure.
Absolutely. It is a transaction.
It's a transaction to them. You're not even guests at their wedding.
No.
And even if they were, I think I would still argue that doesn't
pay me the
that
cost.
doesn't like free you of that cost.
I would agree with that. I think honestly the fact that they were willing to do it for free just for your family, like I would assume that I'm getting invited to my cousin's wedding next year. Like that's I think that's a fair assumption to make with family. And so like, you know, that's above and beyond in kindness to give them free product, time, labor, all of that. I don't even think I would even accept that from my family member. I think like getting it at cost, I would never want to see them pay $2,000 or whatever the number is for me and all my shit for my wedding. Yeah. Like them offering their time and their services free of charge, like incredible. But I'm at least going to pay for the materials. Yeah. Especially if I'm being a high maintenance, needy little shit. Revisions. Can you print it? Can you redo this? Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah. I agree.
I think it's totally fair.
Yeah. I think it's fair to bill for it.
Oh, yeah.
Your work is your work. And you are a fully functioning business, as OP says. These people didn't really think, I mean, I get it. You run out of room. That's fine. But you didn't make the cut for them, which just signifies the relationship that they have with you is not as deep as you thought. And so fully fair to charge.
Exactly. I think at that point,
you're a vendor at this point.
You are. You're a vendor.
100%. What separates you from a different vendor?
Nothing. No other vendors getting an invite?
No.
Same.
Yeah. And even if you did get an invite, like
I wouldn't want to go anymore.
No, I'm saying even if they had gotten an invite, like, let's just say you were like a pastry chef and I invite, obviously you're like in my wedding, whatever. And then you just say, hey, Alejandra, I'm going to like bring like some desserts to your wedding. Like, let me know what I owe you. Like if you're a fully functioning pastry business, let me know what the cost will be. And like, no, it's on me. It's a wedding gift. Okay, that's different. But like if you fully own a shop and you're going to be bringing a service, like you should not just expect that it's free.
Yeah.
Unless it was premised as like, this is a gift to you. Like, da, da, da.
I feel like so many people do though.
I saw this TikTok of this girl it was actually up for debate where so essentially it was the OP, the TikTok creator, was like, I have this client who always buys cakes from me, a regular. One day she like gets a cake from me and she invites me to book club with her girlfriends. Hey, come to book club next Thursday. Okay, cool. So she thinks like I'm getting
They're friends. Yeah.
Yes. And then she's like, bring one of your delicious cakes. So, I mean, this one was actually really like tossed up. But this person shows up with a cake and then invoiced them. Or like hits her with an invoice and she was like, wait, what? Like, why am I paying for this cake? But it was, the banter was like, she did tell you to bring a cake. And since she regularly buys cakes from you, it's kind of fair to assume that she was meaning like, make a cake and I'll pay for it because she's bought cakes from you before and you don't have really this pre-existing relationship. But then the other camp was like, this was an invite
to try to be friends.
And the least you could do was just like bring a cake as a gesture.
That's the camp I'm in.
It is.
Yeah.
But she was like, am I an asshole for invoicing her? And it's like, it was really truly like, you gotta
get there and read the room.
Yeah. It was split.
Because I think like ordering a cake, I guess maybe it was the way that she put it where she's like, bring one of your cakes. Yeah. Where it could have been like, we usually all kind of like potluck and bring stuff. Yeah. Feel free to bring whatever.
Yeah, that wasn't it.
Like your cakes are really good if you want to bring one of
That's
those.
different. No, it wasn't that.
It's all about that delivery.
Yes.
So
it was like bring those cakes you make, or like bring that one cake, or it was
that's
like
really tough.
It is tough because you're really like, is that an order? Like, I don't know. I really was torn on that one. Ooh. I personally wouldn't invoice because I'm like,
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't have, but I don't necessarily think it was out of pocket to invoice.
I think I would have in that moment asked for more clarification and just. But it's like, oh, you're getting an invite. You don't want to like, rock the boat,
you
right?
Don't spoil it, yeah.
But I feel like I would have been like, oh, do people typically bring stuff? Is it a potluck?
Yeah.
Like dessert, or should I bring something else? Like, and then if I don't know. Like you kind of have to weed it out. But I guess I probably would have showed up and just with the simplest fucking cake you can make.
For sure. And then like, this one's on the house. And then next time I'll tell her, hey, like,
I'm not going to bring a cake every week.
Yeah.
Because then it's kind of like, oh, you just invited me to your book club for my cakes.
Yeah. Or see if she pays you. And if she doesn't,
then you know.
Next time just say, hey, like on my days off, like I don't want to make it. Whatever you have to say.
Yeah.
Then now you know. So it was definitely very awkward. And I guess another argument too was like, this person's a regular client. Like they clearly buy cakes from you. Like it's a good sign of goodwill. Like you bring a cake to the book club.
That's also really true.
Like you might have just lost a good
I think she did.
Yeah.
That's awkward.
I know. Because the person was taken back. They were like, what do you mean? Like, what?
Well, and that to me seems like a gesture of like, hey, I really enjoy you.
Yeah.
I know we have limited interaction, but like a book club is a great place to start to work on friends. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have invoiced. I would have brought it and then like read the room and like if I was the only one bringing the cake
you would have
no
invoiced?
One else. No. I just wouldn't have probably gone back because then it's kind of like, well, did you invite me only for the cakes? And if that's how you feel after leaving, then like it didn't make you feel good. So don't go back. But
yeah, it's a good point.
It is your time. It is your energy. But also that seems like it was a nice gesture to be like, hey, let's be friends.
It does. But also like she could have just said, come to book club, period. No, bring your cake.
Yeah.
That's where I think it's like
total miscommunication on both.
It's kind of like hey, do you want to go take like a Pilates class tomorrow? Yeah. Okay. Can you drive? Like, okay, my car's being repaired. Can you drive? That's kind of the vibe I get where it's like.
I want to know how that one resolved.
Which one?
That.
Oh, the cake.
Yeah.
Oh, you could probably Google it. I think it went kind of viral.
I need to find that one.
It was like cake book club. And it might have not been book club. It might have been like bridge or something. It was some type of gathering, but I think it was book club. Yeah, I thought that one was hard. I went back and forth. And the comments were like very kind of split and making great arguments on both. And I'm like, that's tough. I mean, that's happened. I can't think of a specific example, but like, that's happened to me where Even like girls' nights, right? And it's like, oh, everyone brings food or wine. And there's been nights where everyone just brings something and that's it. And then there's been nights where we're all like, okay, like let me know what I owe you, like Venmo, you know what I mean? And sometimes you really don't know. And it kind of sucks because it's like, well, if I had known, I wouldn't have gotten this $50 bottle of wine that I was going to just pay for myself. I thought we were all splitting it. You know what I mean?
I know.
So it's kind of, you know, mismanaged expectations.
I think so. It's very miscommunication.
Well, we've always been all really good about like when we would do girl stuff, we'd always be like kind of like expecting that we're all sharing and going in on it.
Yeah.
So but I know that that's not always the case.
I know.
Which
It was
is really
on
tough.
TikTok.
It's on TikTok.
I can't find
I'll
it
see if I can
based
find
on Googling search a bunch of different things. So if anyone sees it, please send it my way. If Alejandra can't find it.
I'll try.
A lot of comments from OP on this one. And someone goes, not the asshole. They used you. Look at how much money they saved.
Yeah.
$2,000 is not a normal wedding gift. I suggest from now on you ask to be paid, but give a discount. You shouldn't end up in the red because of a gift unless you can write it off. Ask yourself if they never intended to invite you and just wanted free services.
Yeah.
And OP goes, it usually ends up being a couple $100 max. The constant revisions and reprints jacked the price up considerably. We were still at the awkward stage where we couldn't exactly tell them, quote, hey, this is getting kind of expensive.
What? That's where
You
I'm
can
like,
always tell someone that.
Yeah, that's where you got to kind of like put your adult pants on and communicate, because like in this world, if you don't advocate for yourself, no one's advocating for you and your business. You have to advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's where I think, I'm not like blaming OP or anything, but I do think you have to take a little bit of responsibility and say, hey, you know, we were planning on giving you like a massive discount, or this was going to be a wedding gift from us. However, it's starting to get
It's too expensive.
It's starting to get very expensive and beyond the price point that we were comfortable with. So we're so happy to still do this for you. Just know that after a certain threshold, we will have to invoice.
Yeah. Especially after all the revisions. That's an easy point where if they keep asking for revisions, you can say, hey, you know what? Like these revisions are really jacking up your price.
Yeah.
Going forward, we're going to have to charge for everything else because we're hitting the $1,500 mark or we're hitting the $1,000 mark. And that's extensive for us.
Yeah. And just this is out of the norm for us. This is not our typical. We're kind of like we're kind of doing like double backclicks for you guys here. And so we can't do it at a huge discount because it's already more work than we would traditionally do when someone's paying full price.
Yeah.
But again, like it's easy for us to sit here and say that. And I know it's so much more awkward when you're in that position and you don't want to rock the boat and you don't want to make people feel bad.
For sure.
But I just think that a lot of heartache can be saved with a little bit of awkward communication, can save like a lot of awkward aftermath.
Oh my God.
You know, so.
Speaking of communication, the fact that everyone else is getting involved too is crazy. I think the groomsmen, like, yeah, you got some loyal friends there. So someone actually brings it up though and they go, what exactly are they threatening you with? Give us free shit or we'll call the cops?
Yeah.
And OP goes, the groomsmen are messaging me with frat bro garbage like, quote, you're not going to fuck up our boy's wedding. Everyone else is saying how we made it about us and now the bride has to deal with this, etc. Nothing of substance.
You can't make it about you if you weren't invited to a wedding. They're not.
You're literally just charging for what you've done, which is completely fair.
Completely fair.
$2,000 is like.
That's crazy. That's way more expensive than a wedding gift.
Yeah. And this comment's really sad. So someone goes, also, what is your wife's stance on this since it wasn't mentioned? Not the asshole regardless. And OP goes, she's devastated. She's the most generous person I know, and she gets so much joy out of helping friends and family with their special events. They kept trying to guilt her and made vague threats, so I took over the messaging. That's when the groomsmen stepped in. Total disaster, man.
Oh, that hurts because it's always the people who are so generous and kind that could take an advantage of. They felt like they could take advantage of them, and it's so sad.
It's so sad.
I hate that.